My disability is that when I walk into a room, everyone in that room who can see or hear label me as disabled and treats me differently because of how I look and how I move, because of how I answer, and I'm instantly set apart. And that is my disability. I can't run. I can't hang out in the background. I'm always visible. I'm on display in all my reaction is if everyone is going to stare anyhow, that gives them something to look at.
Welcome to this talk on living disability theory, reflections on research, access, and design. I'm Megan Hofmann, and my co-authors are Devva Kasnitz, Jennifer Mankoff, and Cynthia Bennett. We are all disabled women academics, and through a duo ethnography method of iterative storytelling among the authors, we reflected on our personal and professional experiences with disability and disability theory to inform accessibility research and design. In this talk, we'll share a few of the stories, like the one Devva just told, and the lessons they illuminate.
I'm blind, and often while walking and talking, I'll use a human guide technique by holding someone's elbow so I can focus more on the conversation. One night after Assets 2017, I decided to walk with Megan so we could give each other mutual aid. She could guide me, and I could be on faint duty.
It took us a bit to get to the bar, and I fainted a few times along the way. Certain triggers like loud noises or certain smells caused me to faint and fall over. Doctors have told me that I'm just attention seeking, and universities have claimed that my lack of a diagnosis means that I'm not disabled enough to receive accommodations. I didn't think that I was disabled enough. We got there in one piece and ordered our drinks.
At this point, I had known Megan and her story for 3 years. We always hung out at conferences, and we were fangirls of each other's research. So I said it. Inhibitions aside, we were at a bar. I said, Megan, you're fucking disabled.
So there I was, drinking with my blind friend who had spent the last half hour making sure that I got to the bar safely. And I realized that disability is not a hierarchy based on the levels or types of impairments. Cindy was a mentor to me, and she helped me to claim this identity for myself. I am disabled. I think that moment really changed everything. It took a while for me to more fully claim this identity, but this was the first moment that I started to feel comfortable claiming it for myself.
I learned that mentorship takes many forms. Disability and everything that makes us who we are intertwined with our work and our relationships. When we can, as mentors, we need to be vulnerable with our mentees. I'm not advocating to be reckless, but we need to take risks to uplift others.
I learned that categorizing our research by disability and diagnosis leaves out people who do not have a diagnosis or who have multiple disabilities, or people who cannot claim their disabled identity because they were told by people in institutions that they're not disabled enough. We need to be more flexible in how we break down our research and, for example, find needs in common with people with different impairments.
And while we were writing this paper, I realized I had been doing something while walking together. Whenever I heard loud, faint triggering noises, I would tighten my grip on Megan's elbow. So I brought it up.
And in response, I told her, no one person can protect me from all of the loud noises in the world. I've learned to manage my disability. I usually prefer that people just catch me when I faint, rather than trying to anticipate what could make me faint and grabbing me.
I wasn't doing anything undeniably terrible. I was acting with subtlety, but this was still a form of evilism. I was using Megan's disability as justification to take authority over her body without her permission. I'm so glad we talked about it so I can be intentional intentional about not doing that anymore. I learned that we constantly need to check in on our ableism. We need to be careful and not ask people to educate us all the time, but these moments of education can come up even when doing research or writing papers together. So we must always be prepared to learn.
Whenever I board a bus, I hide my cane from the bus drivers. They might assume that I need the ramp to board, but lowering the ramp triggers a loud, faint triggering noise.
I don't like the loud sound buses make either, but I cannot hide my cane. It helps me to walk safely.
We need our canes to both disappear and be visible.
When we board the bus together, I walk behind Megan with my cane held upright in the center of my body, so hopefully the bus driver won't see it. In this situation reminded me that accessibility and increasing representation of disabled scholars will occur when we assess power and redistribute it as necessary. Giving Megan more power to direct our navigation to keep her safe was more important than me and my own autonomy.
Everyone's access needs are different. They can conflict, and we should not aim for technology to be universally accessible. But we should anticipate that access conflicts exist and support working through them in the context they will be experienced. Both Jen and I have personal experiences with customized canes. On the last slide, we showed two custom-made beautiful canes. The left cane was a gift from Jen Mankoff to her daughter, who is beginning to have disabling experiences. The cane goes up to Jennifer's daughter's chest height. The staff-like cane gradually increases in thickness, and a concave spiral coils up the cane, increasing in width along the way. The color transitions from yellow pine to green-blue to blue-green. On the cane, the quote, "The caged bird sings of freedom," is engraved. On the right, we show a picture of myself in my wedding dress, and leaning on a cane my husband handcrafted as a gift to me. It represents his joy in being my caregiver. The cane is made of cherry wood and comes up to just below my hip. There is a jewel-like red cylinder at its center, which my husband milled from a clear plastic. He wanted to create a way to present myself as proudly and beautifully disabled on our wedding day. Access technologies like these canes play an important role in helping us express ourselves and build relationships. We hope these stories reveal new opportunities for accessibility research. We ask you to think of disability beyond diagnosis, to anticipate access conflicts, and to consider diverse disabled relationships. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out at hoffman.megan@gmail.com.